Last class, we talked a lot about vegetables. We talked about the importance of eating a variety of different colors to get a variety of vitamins in our bodies. Hopefully this month you tried eating a new vegetable or two and you practice eating lots of different colors, and hopefully you're noticing a difference in how your body is feeling. Remember, eating enough vitamins can help prevent your body from getting chronic diseases such as cancer and different type of heart disease, and even high blood pressure can be prevented from eating healthy. Very important changes that can happen with just what you put in your body. Today we will be talking about a different group, and if you're looking at my table display here, you probably can guess we'll be talking about the grain group today. The grain group has a lot of different forms, and there are definitely healthier choices that you can make when you're eating foods in the whole grain group. So let me show you the anatomy of a grain kernel, which we have slightly talked about in the past. We're pretending that this is a small piece of wheat. It's hard to imagine the parts of a wheat by looking at such a small kernel. So this is a big version of what a piece of wheat would look like. There are three parts of a whole grain. There is the outside that's called the bran, the endosperm is the white starchy part of the grain, and the germ is the center part. Inside the germ and the bran, we find all the nutrients. We find fiber, we find vitamins and minerals that cannot be found in the endosperm. If you're eating a whole grain product, such as whole wheat bread, brown rice, quinoa, pasta that's made from whole grains, you can be eating all of these parts, all the anatomy of the grain. Now, if you're eating white bread, for instance, why is it white? It's because we lost all of our colorful parts along with all the nutrients, and we were just left with this starchy endosperm, which does not have any nutrients. Now, a lot of the time when you're buying white bread or white crackers or pasta, you'll see on the ingredient list that it has been enriched. What that means is that this endosperm, there were essential vitamins that were added back into the endosperm, which enriched it. Does this make this as healthy as if it was in its whole form? Obviously not. The whole natural state of a food is always your healthiest option. Another thing that happens when you lose the bran and the endosperm is you lose all the fiber. So you do not have fiber in its natural form in an enriched or in a refined grain. Why is fiber so important? Hopefully you've heard the term fiber before and you're vaguely familiar with this. Fiber is very important to keep your body strong and healthy, and it also keeps your body clean and prevents diseases from developing. I like to think of a sponge when I think of fiber. What a sponge does is it cleans things, right? You can clean walls or dishes, your body, a car, anything can be cleaned really well with a sponge. It's really good at scrubbing and cleaning, getting in the nooks and crannies of things to get all the gunk out. That is what fiber does for your body. Now imagine with me that we're in a classroom and I have 5 students up at the class with me. I give each student a different size of sponge. I have this size, this size, this size, this size, and no sponge at all. I set a timer for 30 seconds and I ask you guys to clean your desk. Who's going to clean it the most efficiently and the best? Obviously the person with this sponge, right? It has more surface area and is able to clean a greater distance and do a better job before the timer goes off. That's very similar to how fiber is. A whole grain product has fiber that is this big versus fiber that is in smaller doses or in no doses at all. Fiber is what cleans our body and keeps us strong and healthy. Let's do a little experiment to see how this works in your body. Your small intestine plays a very important part with absorption. So it connects to your stomach, and after your stomach churns the food that you eat, it goes into your intestine, which then absorbs all the nutrients that are sent throughout your body and throughout the cells in your body to give it the nutrients that it needs and to store food for later times. So imagine with me that this is your intestine, okay? This is a big, long tube that kind of gives you the idea of what your intestine looks like. Now, your intestine is all swirled and curved, but for time's sake, we're just going to be using a small example of what a hose would look like, or your example of your intestine. So I have a donut here with me, and this donut is simulating food that's not healthy, as well as bacteria and different types of food. What's gonna happen if I try to stick this donut into my tube? Okay, obviously it's gonna get churned up in the stomach, but if I was to just stick some of this gooey donut in, what is gonna happen? It's gonna get stuck and clog, right? And that's what happens in your intestine. Food starts to get clogged after your food is absorbed. There's leftover parts that obviously have nowhere to go, and sometimes they get stuck in those twists of your intestine. Now, what fiber does that makes it so crucial and important for keeping the inside of your body clean, just like our sponge does for the outside of our body, is it goes through and it pushes that food and different bacteria and things that are clogged up in your intestine. So today I have an example of a carrot, which also has fiber. We talked about the vegetable and fruit group having fiber, as well as whole grains. Also, noodles would work for the same concept. But all we're going to do is just slide this into our intestine, and what does it do to those clogged foods? It's able to push them out and clean out our intestine, right? And that's what fiber does, right? It goes in one end in our mouth and it comes out the other end. And in the process, it's pushing all the food that's stuck up and clogged in our intestine. Now, if we had more time, we'd be able to look at what our whole intestine would look like. If we were able to put a donut or any type of clogged food, we were able to see that we would have the same result take place. We would have things that would get clogged up in the corners and in the difficult parts for your body to expel on its own. And so that's why fiber, our whole grains and our fruits and our vegetables come in, they go through your stomach, they keep you full because they do not digest, and they go through all the parts of your intestine, pushing out the parts that are clogged and are stuck and can lead to problems with blockages and also chronic diseases. So fiber, so important to keep the inside of your body clean. Hopefully I was able to convince you of the importance of fiber with our previous experiment. But if I didn't, let's hear it from the doctors that know best.
Doctors may tell us we need more fiber, and we know in general that it's good for our digestion. But new meta-analysis published in the journal The Lancet tells us there's another reason to up your fiber intake. According to CNN, those with diets rich in fiber have a 15 to 30% lower risk of death and chronic disease, 22% lower risk of stroke, and 16% lower risk of type 2 diabetes and colorectal cancer than those with low-fiber diets. The findings were conducted at the request of the World Health Organization to determine future fiber intake guidelines. Looking at data from 180 studies and 50 clinical trials over the past 40 years, CNN reports researchers advise consuming 25 to 29 grams of fiber daily. The higher the fiber, the more benefits there are. As for too much fiber, only as it relates to iron, as a diet high in whole grains can actually reduce iron levels. While there are plenty of options for high fiber foods, experts warn to pay attention to sugar content. When in doubt, or just to cross it off your daily list, stick to lentils, beans, whole bran, and fruits like blueberries, apples, and strawberries.
Now that we understand the importance of fiber, how do we know if there's fiber in our foods? Obviously, if it's a whole grain or a fruit or a vegetable, like we talked about, it's going to have fiber in it. But if you're uncertain or not sure, a good way that you can check to see if a food is high in fiber content is to look on the food label, which is what we'll be doing for the next couple of minutes. Food labels give us a lot of information about the food that we're eating, as well as the nutrients that that food contains. Food labels are very useful if you know how to use them. So let's learn while you're young how to use food labels. You can help teach your family and friends the importance of reading them, and that they really are quite simple to understand and to use when you're shopping and when you're cooking. So I'm going to give you an example of a food, and you're going to decide if it is high in fiber content or if it is low in fiber content. Foods that have at least 3 grams of fiber are considered high fiber foods. Our goal is to look towards about 5 grams of fiber, and remember, this is per serving. So let's check our first food and see if it is considered a high fiber food. Remember, you'll be looking on the food label under the fiber part of the label. We can see this right under total carbohydrates. You can see dietary fiber. I know it's hard to see from this angle, but I will show you a closer up version, and you'll be able to see where fiber is on the food label and if the food contains it. Let's take a quick glimpse of what a food label looks like and where fiber is located. Now that you are familiar with where food label is located on the food label, let's test your knowledge and see if you can locate a high fiber food, a low fiber food, and start to look for some similarities and patterns. Hopefully you're starting to see a pattern. Foods that are in their natural state, foods that are and belong on my plate, have a lot of fiber in them. We learned today about the importance of fiber, what it does for our body, short term and in the long term. It can prevent a lot of problems from taking place if you're just simply making better choices, and now you have the knowledge to know how. Nutrition is very interesting and has a lot of great knowledge for you, both short term and long term, but let's practice applying these principles. Practice looking at the food label when you're at home with food in your pantry or at the grocery store. You can find food labels all over the foods that are in your home or located in different places. Keep an eye out for fiber and try to notice trends that you see. If the food is high in fiber, it likely belongs on my plate and is a healthy choice food. Try to increase your fiber content, especially eating whole grains. Our goal is to try to make 6 ounces a day for whole grains and to make half of those. So 3 a day should hopefully be whole grains. That could be a whole grain cereal, a whole grain tortilla, it could be a whole grain bread or pasta, brown rice. There are so many options. So if there are certain ones you prefer to be eating in a refined or enriched state, that's perfectly fine. Try eating popcorn or brown rice or quinoa to get those whole grain intake each day. They're so crucial and important for your body. Now let's practice making one of these whole grain snacks. This recipe is so simple that a 5-year-old can do it. So today for our whole grain snack, I wanted to show you how simple it was. So I have my 5-year-old here with me. What's your name?
Beckett.
Beckett. And he is going to help us make our snack today and show you how simple it really is and very inexpensive. So all you need to make this recipe is a brown paper sack like you would take to school for lunch, some type of tape, you'll just need a little tiny bit, and then some popcorn kernels. All right. Yeah, tell them how to do it.
So you get 3 scoops of this.
And put it in the bag. Very good. How many scoops was that?
3.
3 scoops. And then you're just going to fold over your bag like this and put a piece of tape. Beck, you want to put the tape on?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Put the tape right here. Very good. Just like that. And then you're going to put it in the microwave. And Beckett's going to help us with something else. So we're gonna set the timer for 2 minutes. How long, Beckett?
2.
2 minutes. All right, Beckett, can you tell the class when is your favorite time to eat popcorn?
On Monday and Tuesday.
On Monday and Tuesday? Nice. Why Monday and Tuesday?
Cause when those cold days on Monday and Tuesday, I know that it's sometimes kind of warm. So I just eat it.
Nice. So he likes to eat popcorn on cold days. My favorite time to eat popcorn is when I'm watching a movie. Do you like to do that too? Yeah? Maybe you could tell the class, what is your favorite movie to watch?
Superheroes.
Superhero movies? Do you like to eat popcorn when you watch superhero movies? Yeah? Very good. So today we're making a healthy popcorn, so we're not adding lots of butter and salt, which is typically what they put on popcorn, especially at like movie theaters. So Beckett, what's something you like to put on your popcorn to give it flavor?
Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, Sour Patch Kids. There's another option, not a healthy one. What about a healthy thing you could put on your popcorn?
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, good, yeah, cinnamon's a healthy snack that you could put on your popcorn. You could also do like chili powder or oregano or black pepper's really tasty. That's a yummy one too, huh? We've tried lots of different spices, so this is something you could experiment with as well. After you make this popcorn, you can just add some spices to it and it will give it lots of flavor without adding all the unhealthiness. If you do prefer butter and salt, of course that's fine to add that to your popcorn, but you just want to do not as much, because remember, when you're adding lots of unhealthy things to a healthy food, it makes it less healthy and the nutrients aren't as impactful as if you didn't have all that extra added stuff to it. So our popcorn has 7 seconds left and we'll open it up and maybe Beckett could give it a try. So you could try it, Beckett? Yeah? Okay. All right, I'll shake up my bag. And how about we cut it open? Oh man, look at that delicious popcorn. Doesn't that look yummy? Some cinnamon? All right, we're gonna sprinkle some cinnamon on it. There's lots of other spices you could add, or you can just eat it plain. I like to eat it plain. All right, let's sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon in there.
Tell them how I like to eat it.
Sure, yeah, tell them.
I like to eat it how? When there's like some candy in it.
Yeah, sometimes adding a little bit of candy in there to make it sweet. All right, so I added some cinnamon in there, shook it up. All right, Beckett, can you taste it and tell us how it tastes?
Good.
Is it hot? A little bit hot? Good, so hopefully Beckett gave you some good advice and you saw how simple and easy this healthy snack was, and you can try it at home and experiment with all kinds of different spices. Up next, we'll talk about what our exercise will be for the day to get outside, get moving, and get your body healthy and strong. Today for your outdoor activity, you'll be doing a fiber relay. Just like fiber helps encourage the food through your body, you'll be doing a race to see which team is faster. The class will be split into 2 teams. Each team forming a line, a cone will be placed in the distance. You'll be given a challenge to try to race to the cone and back. After the first person completes the race, they'll tag the next person in line and they will run and continue. The first team that wins will get to choose the next challenge, whether it's running, skipping, hopping, jumping. Any type of activity is great for your body and makes the inside and the outside of your body healthy and strong. Focus on eating whole grains this month, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.